Hey everyone, welcome back to Off the Record podcast. My name is Amanda.
My name is Kenise.
And I'm Shawnee.
All right, so thank you for joining us again today. And of course, if you haven't seen us before, check us out on YouTube and on Spotify. And you can follow us on TikTok and on Instagram. We're posting, but not as often, but we're getting there.
We're getting there slowly.
We are.
Like a slow train.
Hey, we have full-time jobs, so please bear with us. We are trying to make this passion project into something. So we'll do it together with your support. So today's topic is one that we don't really talk about often. As a part of our wellness series, you typically hear a lot about physical health and physical wellness, mental wellness, but we rarely talk about the power of connection, social wellness, that is, building relationships, maintaining relationships, like engaging in our communities. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into it. So to kick us off, ladies, why don't you tell me what social wellness means to you and why do you think it's a crucial part of our well-being?
I'll go
Take
first.
it away, Kenise.
I don't have any social wellness. I didn't even know this was a thing until you brought it up. So I'm gonna just say I have no clue. I'm here to learn from you guys. So
I'm with Kenise.
Johnny.
My social wellness is staying away from people.
You're
Well, that is the opposite message we're sending today.
Totally joking, guys. I didn't mean that. Of course, social wellness is important to your mental and
Love
physical.
people.
Yeah, we love people.
Maybe not today.
Today was pretty rough. Social wellness is making sure, okay, to me, social wellness is making sure that you're surrounding yourself with quality people in your personal life. So
They're hard to find, Shawnee.
Well, that is why, as you get older, you realize that the bigger circle doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best circles.
Okay.
So you'll see as you get older, your circles, they get smaller and smaller and smaller for a very specific reason. You're growing as a person and you want to make sure that the people that you surround yourself with have your best interests at heart, you have their best interests at heart, and that you're surrounding yourself with quality over quantity.
And where do you find these people, Shawnee?
I may not be the best example because I've had the same group of friends.
Our listeners want to know.
Middle school. We've been friends since we were 11 and I'm in my 30s now. And I mean, I've made friends along the way throughout high school, college, into adulthood. Very few friends, but I've made additional friends that are not necessarily in that circle. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty rare for you to have a group of friends from that young of an age.
I think that's a blessing, the fact that you guys carried each other from childhood to adulthood and you didn't lose each other, because oftentimes I remember I have a friend that I've lost. I'm surprised that we kind of lost, not really contact, we don't align anymore. But I do have a few that have stuck along the path, but that's a very good thing. How about you, Kenise?
I have more social connections that from past work, because I worked full time while I was in college and I went to school full time, and I was trying to do my undergrad in 3 years instead of 4 years because I'm a high achiever. So I worked full time and I went to school full time all seasons, all year, to finish my degree in 3 years instead of 4. So I really honestly don't have any friends from college because I never hung out with anybody except for projects. And then I just wanted a project done and then just move on with my life. So I'm kind of the anomaly. So all my friends are pretty much kind of from my personal life of church and friends that I've picked up from being employed that I have for years. I have people from my first internship that I'm still connected with. They're a great circle.
So Kenise, that's a really good point where, a lot of us we're fortunate enough to have made those connections really early on in life. But what about for some of our viewers that haven't made those connections yet, which is perfectly fine, right? what do we say to those people that just feel like they haven't found their circle, they haven't found their people, their tribe?
And like, what age group are you like? Are you saying like they're at like our age? Or they're like out of college? Because I think it just depends on what phase you are in life.
Um, I mean, I haven't done a pulse survey on the age population of our viewers, but let's do like a nice early to mid 20s,
Mm-hmm.
or let's do the 20s as a
Okay.
like a whole decade. And
Well, wouldn't that
someone is feeling like they haven't found their people,
wouldn't
So
that be
you
like a college group?
like or after college.
or after
Yeah.
college. The 20s
Okay.
are rough.
The 20s are rough, and it's hard to like if you didn't make friends that stuck during college, then it's difficult when you're now in the working world trying to navigate
Mhm.
adulthood and your first like real job. Um, how do you put yourself out there to kind of meet people? Where are you meeting these people? I think there has to be a level of confidence in yourself and knowing who you are so that you can engage with different people when you meet them. What do you
Mhm.
say about that?
I feel like that's easier said than done. Like confidence in itself is like a whole other topic where
Yeah.
it's not easy to just have it. It's something that I had to build that up for myself because I wasn't confident. My friends from when we were 11 years old can tell you how how nerdy looking I was back then. And I think a lot of if you are someone that's looking to build up your confidence, as I don't mean it to sound shallow or anything like that, but confidence really does start, I believe. I don't know if Kenise and Amanda are going to feel differently from the outside. If you look good, you feel good. So if you are someone that isn't feeling that self-confident, I would say, really work on, your outward appearance. Of course, inner beauty is important. It's just so super, it sounds so shallow.
No, it's
But I
not
just
shallow.
I do disagree though. I'm happy you said I wonder if Kenise or Amanda would agree. I do disagree slightly. I do believe you have that level of confidence on the outside if you feel that your nose is imperfect or your eyes are too close or they're wonky or
Right.
something like that. But I feel like what level of confidence, I don't know. If you have an extra finger or something, I don't know, which is fine. If you have an extra finger, that's cool. I think you have to start from the inside, like knowing who you are and who you want to attract and who you want to be friends with. Because I mean, you guys I'm sure we all know people who try so hard to fit in and will
Right.
do whatever they possibly can to fit in and try to be overly confident. And you're like, whoa, that's a little bit too much.
Too much.
Right. So they can like feel so confident, like because they look the part and they walk into the room and they feel like, yeah, I got this. But they're like, no, you ain't got nothing. I don't know. So that's why I feel like I think you have to like have something internally where you're like who you are, be poised in who you are. Honestly, I will say I don't know this topic really well because like I really didn't care to have a social circle because I feel like it was better to be alone because I don't have to worry about anybody else. And people stress you out. And like girls my age used to, like when I was younger, like in my teens, used to be really jealous. Like, so I never like whether it's boys or whether it's like this or that. And I've just had really bad experiences with girls. So I've always been friends with older people, like 10, 15, 20 years older than me. And it's still the case. My best friend is in her like late 60s, best friend, but she looks like she's like younger than me. But I just feel like for me, I don't know, like, does that mean I lack the confidence?
No,
No. You're
I
probably one of the more confident people that I know.
I agree. But there is a point about like if you had a rough time with people. So I moved
Mhm.
around a lot as a kid, right? And like every few years, here we go again. Like I have to get a new school. It's like, oh God, like how many times am I going to do this? Like, so I've always been put in a situation where I have to make friends, I guess. But for me, I kind of just leaned into who I was. I was just like a nice person. And I feel like that did help, like, build some of those relationships that I still have until today. However, when people are mean, because I did experience people that were mean, like I'm not going to talk about it, but it was like, it was not nice. And I was like, holy crap. I had a
Right.
kid once tell me, he's like, well, you're not this. And I'm like, huh? I was born there. What are you talking about? So like, it was like these little things that happen. It does like hurt. And I remember
Right.
there was like really bad experiences that I've had with people, and it does etch away at your confidence. But I think it comes back to knowing who you are, which is your point, Kenise, like being confident in yourself and like the person you are. But to Shawnee's point, I do think when you, we all have insecurities, right? And we live in a world where we are judged by our appearance, right? You can be the nicest person, but if you appear messy or not put together, people are not giving you the time of day.
Mm-mm.
It's true.
So I feel like you have to kind of invest a little bit in what is it that what part of you that you want to fix? Do you want to change your wardrobe? Maybe you dress a little too tomboyish and you're like, I want to present myself a little bit more feminine. Like, how do I do that? I don't know, maybe you don't like your teeth and you want to go get them what is it,
Right.
whitened or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think
Like,
it's a work in progress, right? So building that confidence internally, and also then it exhibits itself externally as well.
Yeah, and I guess to my point before, it came off sounding shallow maybe.
no.
I wasn't saying to go out, right? And,
Mm.
wear the latest labels and you need to whatever is trending right now, like aloe or whatever the case is. Like you don't need to do that, right? You need to find what your personal style is and what you're going to feel most comfortable in and most beautiful in. And that's gonna shine through. How you do this, the physical part for yourself, not for anyone else, but for yourself. And I
Right.
promise you, once you find that balance and what your personal style is and how you want to appear and how you want to do your hair and how you want to dress and whatever the case
Right.
is, then I think that's gonna help boost your confidence.
Yeah. You don't think confidence though is like from the out, like I understand, like you're saying messy. You know, somebody comes in and they're really disheveled, they haven't taken a shower, they're not wearing deodorant. But don't you feel like like that's really, really bad. But don't you think like somebody who's not very attractive that you would find that's attractive, but they carry themselves intelligently with great confidence, would you let that person into your circle?
Of course.
But
My
they
friends
wear
let me into
fabletics
their
instead of
circle and I
out.
was like a little ugly duckling back then. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. But I feel like, yeah, absolutely, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. If someone, you know, isn't aesthetically put together, that's
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
right,
Yeah.
right.
That's
If you wear
perfectly fine.
fabletics versus aloe, it's okay.
But yeah, absolutely, right? I don't think that because you can meet the most gorgeous person, most good-looking person that
Yeah,
has like everything on, and they can be the ugliest person that you've ever met,
right.
Absolutely.
right? So it really that doesn't dictate everything, right? We're talking about like just self-confidence for people, I guess in my opinion, right? If you are someone that doesn't know how to approach people, right? Like you don't have a group or you know what I mean? Just carry yourself well and then, dress how you want to attract what you
Yes.
want your circle
Yes,
to look like, right?
right,
So if you want your circle to look all disheveled, right, then dress disheveled.
right,
But
Find
if
your
you
tribe.
Right, but if you want to be surrounded by more intelligent people, or you're looking to, you know, talk to people about a certain topic or bond over people about a certain topic, then
right,
you reflect yourself in that way.
right. Yeah,
I think that's a good point because when you're older and you're now trying to build that community for yourself, it is difficult. So it's how you show up in the spaces that you're already in. So how do you show up at work? How do you show up when you go to the gym or wherever else you're going? Because that's where those opportunities for connection lies, right? If you don't have them coming with you from your past, like you have to open up yourself to making those connections. I remember last week when I was away for a work thing, someone says just smile with people. Like and just see the reaction you'll get from them. I'm like, I'm from New York. You smile at someone, they probably want to smack you. But she had a point because let's say you are in a space, because I started doing it. I smiled at people and I was like, oh, they smiled back. They didn't smack me.
No, it's 100% true. Test this theory out, ladies. If you and you know, if you're in New York, like traffic, or if you're trying to like revolve in this situation, you're in the wrong lane and you really need to get over to the other lane, but you know how people like to creep up and they won't let you go. I promise you it works. So look at the person and smile and just be like, and point, and 100% of the time they'll always let you through.
I
But
agree.
you're right, Amanda. It does make a difference.
It does. But I think we're so scared. Everybody's so scared, like, oh my God, if I show that side of myself, like what are people gonna think? Or think I'm crazy? But I feel like doing simple things will attract people around you and being open to meeting people,
Yes.
right?
Yes, you are what you attract.
And
So
being your
go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say like being yourself overall, but I think at the end of the day, don't over try. You know, we all
No,
know people that over try. Like they try so hard to fit in. And I'm like, you don't need to try this hard to fit in. You already fit in. So they'll try to like, you know, buy the clothes and the makeup or, you know, have some kind of lingo and try to like look on social media to see who they can mimic and copy because they're trying so hard to fit in. I don't think that's what we're talking. If that's
no,
not wellness connections, that's like you're really putting yourself in a very, you're going to get depressed after a certain point, I think, if you're trying
and
so hard.
broke. Depressed and broke. Yeah, I think it's like how we want you to show up as your authentic self, who you are, because that those are you're not looking to make connections. Oh, so I can just say I went to brunch on Saturday. That's not what this is. This is for, this is for the great times, but you want to build connections that will be with you and see you through the difficult times in life. That's what you're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
For
I
sure.
feel like, you know, social media has a lot of influence on, you know, confidence, and it can really, you know, some people really do take social media to heart,
Yeah.
and it can really weigh on someone's confidence level, right? They look at this picturesque, you know, person's life, and then, you know, why can't I have that? And I want to do this. And it's just like social media is fake, first of all, right? No one's posting their struggles. No one's actively being like, I cried at work today, but you know what I mean? So it's just like social media is like, it's not good for that reason. It really does have us, you know, comparing each other to each other's selves. So that's one. And two, Amanda's 100% correct. You want to find people that are going to make you feel fulfilled, right? So everyone is going to jump up when they want to go to a party, right?
Mhm.
Everyone, yeah, they're there for the good times. But what happens when, you know, life gets rough? There are bad times. Life is life. Who's going to be the people that surround you to help support you in that way? And that's why social wellness is important, because we can't as humans function, right, alone. We're not built that way naturally. We're not built to be isolated. So you do need to make sure that the people in your circle, right, are of quality and make you feel that fulfillment inside.
And so how do you know that? Because like I think what you're saying too, Shawnee, for me, what I heard when you were just saying that, which is really good, was you need to assess, does this person bring value or does this person like rip me and devalue me? So I think that's part of like the wellness circle that you guys are talking about, like in regards to connecting, because like if somebody does not bring value to me, then I don't initially my circle is very small, very, very, very small. It's not even a circle, it's like a little dot. It's super small, but I like to bring value to the person. Like you were saying, like when the rubber hits the road, like a friend of mine years ago lost her job and her daughter was very ill and she couldn't afford the Cobra, and I ended up just like paying her Cobra, and she didn't even know. But it's just, and I remember what happened. What like I was in a place to do it. I was happy to do it, but she was like, a lot of people like left because she had to sell her house and all of this stuff, really pretty house, and she had to, you know, move into a smaller apartment and all of this stuff because life just pivoted after she lost
Mhm.
her job. And it's who those people, who will be those people in your connected circle that's going to be with you, because that's the true connection in a circle. You can have 50 people, but there might be just one when you assess them that bring value and find that you are valuable to them. So how do you assess that, Shawnee?
It's hard. I feel like it comes with more experience because I feel like the younger you are, the more you create that feeling of acceptance, right? It starts from a really small age, as a child, you want to be accepted by your peers. And it gets worse when you get to like middle school and high school. Those kids are really mean to each other. So how do you assess those people? It again, you experience life. That's what I think. You just experience life. You experience all the highs, all the lows, and then from there you see, who really is going to back you up when your back is in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to show up for you? Like Kenise, like you said, like, your friend was going through a really hard time, and you did that thankfully because you were in the position to do that and because you wanted to, right?
Because I
Um,
also know she would have done that for me as well. Like
right.
100%, she would have done that for me.
But I think it's not an easy thing. It's not like a step one, this is how you assess the person. Step two,
And
this
Correct.
is
yeah.
it's like you have to go through the woes of life with this person and see really what their character is, and different situations will expose how
Yeah.
people really feel about you.
And also, I think it's important to just pay attention how you feel when you're with these people.
Hmm.
Like, are you like when you're done, like, is the night like one of those nights where you just can't stop laughing and like, or even if you're crying, it's like, okay, you're connecting with that person. Or at the end of the night, do you just feel stressed out? Or do you feel like this person, oh God, they definitely don't understand where I'm coming from or like, because you can have really good friends, but sometimes after certain conversations, you may feel a slight heaviness maybe because of what you were talking about. So just assess how you're feeling when you leave that circle or when you leave that interaction. Am I happy? Am I looking forward to going back and spending time with that person? And that can kind of just help you assess, okay, this a good person when I'm now starting off like hanging out with them? Is this a good person for me to be around, or is this a person who's going to take me away from my path that I'm creating for myself?
Mm. I had that
Yeah.
experience just last week, so I know
Oh
exactly
my,
what you're talking about. I
Really?
could see. I was so happy you hit the nail on the head with that one.
no, it's true. It's true. And like, stay away from those people that, you know, it I went through this experience in like my early 20s where those friends that are not interested in how you're doing. They're there to, oh, let's go hang out, let's go grab like food. Sure, no problem. And the whole time, they're talking about themselves and what's wrong, and this is a problem all the time. And never once are you asking, okay, so Shawnee, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So exhausting. I cut her off. I don't talk to her anymore because it's like someone that's not really there for you. Not to say that I have to make it all about me, but it has to be
Mutual.
equal. It has to
Mm-hmm.
be a two-way street, not a
Yeah.
one-way street. I'm not here to sit here and listen. Pay for a therapist. Don't waste my time.
So Amanda, you're saying like the wellness aspect and social, which I think is a great topic because nobody really talks about the
Mhm.
social aspect of wellness overall. So if our viewers right now are in a place, like you guys said, kind of like stuck, like I guess what pointers would we give to them on, amping up their social wellness connections?
I think
I
it
think,
starts, sorry, I think
no,
it
go ahead.
starts with like self-reflecting,
Mm,
figuring out what your interests are, what you like, because that's a very high commonality for people to build relationships, is having some kind of similar something. So finding out what you like, how you like to be spoken to is really important because, if you meet someone who's really rough with their delivery on certain things, that might not be the person for you because their communication is going to be off. So do a lot of self-reflection. Find out what you like, find out what you don't like, what you respond well to, what you don't respond well to. Start there.
that's a good point.
And kind of coming back to something we talked about maybe in our first or second episode, when you figure out what you like, take yourself out to do these things. Date yourself in that sense, like invest in yourself. Like you want to learn how to do pottery because it looks cool. Go figure out where there's a class, get a Groupon, and go. And when you go to this, because you might suck at it, but at least you tried.
And didn't pay full
And
price.
then, right, exactly.
There you go. So you're there, and at least you're in a space now, whereas other people who are trying something new, force yourself to talk to people. Because I think what happens, like, we're so connected to our comfort zone. I'm one of those people, but I promise you, every time I have stepped out into like something that makes me a little uncomfortable or uneasy, of course not risky or whatever, but like doing this podcast, this is not really my thing. I love having small conversations with small groups, but like putting it myself out there, that's hard for me, but I'm doing it because I do believe there's benefit to it. So put yourself out there. Don't be so scared. What, are they not going to talk to you? Okay, fine, screw you then. Don't talk back to them next class. Whatever. But figure out what you like Shawnee said, put yourself out there, try different things. And when you go to these places, show up as your authentic self, whether that is like, making sure you look cute, making sure you feel confident, listen to some pump music. But yeah, that's kind of like what I would say.
Find out what your interest is. If you want to do pottery, go for it. If you like comic books, go to like what is it? Comic-Con, there's like a ton of people there. I'm sure you'll meet people there, you know what I mean? But Amanda's absolutely right. You have to put yourself out there. Yeah.
But then what do you do with the people, just quickly? Like, I don't like to connect with anybody. I really do like not connecting with people.
But Kenise, the difference is that you're content.
Yes, I am very content. Okay, so good. Perfect. So I just want to make sure I'm okay. I'm not weird. Because I'm sure we have one viewer out there that's just like me.
No, Kenise, but I think you really should open up yourself to like.
Maybe we should connect. If you are out there just like me and you want to connect, like, let me know. Just tell them on the email. This is for Kenise, because I don't like connecting, but I want to connect with Kenise. There you go.
Oh my God, guys, I forgot to tell you. So there's actually, I saw it on TikTok, where there's a part of like Bumble, I think, where it's
yes,
just for friends.
Yes. It's a new aspect of it.
Yeah, which I thought in concept was really cool. I'm like,
right.
Yes, there's not only romantic relationships, there's other types of relationships as well out there in the world.
Facebook dating also has that as well. It has the friendships that people can like you as like a match, love match, or friendship.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, if any of our viewers have tried that, please weigh in and let us know. I'd love to know how that worked out for you. Of course, going back to a couple of episodes ago, please be safe for being with people online.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, that's a pretty cool new concept, more modern, I guess. But
have you heard any feedback on it? Because I had seen it. Like, I didn't like go on, but I've seen it. But I'm just curious to know, like, it was weird. Is this person like, are they looking to date you? Because it's females and males, like, so it's a mixture. So
I don't know, but I feel like you have full control over like if you prefer like a female or a male friend or whatever the case is. I don't want to say, because I did see reviews about it. I don't want to put it out there because I'm really curious to hear like honest feedback from our viewers that if you've tried it, please let us know. But I think that's pretty cool. But I also think that there's magic in meeting people in real life, in person, not on the app. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think that it's very possible for you to meet your people face to face in person. You just have to put yourself out there. And like
like Facebook has groups as well. So I had met a lot of people like I connected with because they have like different groups like for crocheting and things like that. That's something I'm trying to do. So I joined a few groups, and they have like people like where I live that have like a little knitting group and crocheting group, or Mod Podge. You have like, I'm now into Mod Podge now. I'm like, I gotta do a Mod Podge.
Oh, you did?
What is that?
It's like when you it's like the thing is like white, I think, and then you put it on something and it's clear. Is that what Mod Podge is?
Yes. Yeah, so it's so for instance, so just saying, if anybody wants to connect with me, I'm telling you, this is the connection here. But like, you take like tissue, like napkins, like pretty design napkins, and then like say you buy like a very cheap like candle holder or plate from Dollar Tree, and you just take off the ply, you put the Mod Podge on there, then you can apply the napkin on there, put more Mod Podge on there. It actually sticks, and it looks like this beautiful design from a tissue paper, from the napkin. And people were making candles. Like, I'm just so obsessed with this right now. Am I the only person? I need you guys to tell me, please write it and let me know if I'm the only, like, I follow these people and they make the prettiest things
I can see that. I can see that.
from napkins.
So if
Is that
anyone's into origami and Mod Podge, please hit up Kenny.
So is that
And
like
crocheting.
school?
And
Like you
crochet.
did paper mache? Is it something similar to that?
Sort of, yes, sort of. If you guys want to start a group, we can start a group. Anybody interested in a group, let us know.
Please hit
Email
up
us,
Kenny.
guys.
I won't be a part of that group, but please feel free to email us. Okay, so that's Kinesis interest, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I love food. I could sit and watch food shows. I can, and my whole day, ask Amanda Kenise, it revolves around food. That is my strongest. I feel
She
passionate
does
about
not
it.
lie.
If it was a sport, I'd be like #1 in the entire country. So like, for example, if I were looking to make new friends, then I probably would go to like a food tour or something like that. You know what I mean? And or like I don't know, something to do with food where it's food and people.
Is
And
there a food tour? Is there something like that? Can I
think
get a Groupon for that?
Hey,
I
there's a group
think
on for
so.
everything.
If it's not an idea, then I totally start it. But I know that there's like things where, like, let's say for pizza, for example, like I think there's like multiple places that you can go with like a guide or whatever.
Ooh.
So yeah, like I would do something like that and I would bond with people over food. And I know that friendship would last forever.
Forever. Just
Agreed.
forever. And what about you, Amanda? Like, what would be like your connection?
So I really want to try pottery. Don't laugh at me. I think it looks really cool. So I was watching a show, of course.
Did
And
you make that pot back there?
I did
You
on
did.
Canva.
That looks like a pottery pot.
But I feel like it looks so, there's something like with you're touching it and molding it into something. I don't know. It looks
A
really
ghost? Like Ghost?
That's so
Patrick Swayze?
hot with Demi Moore and
Yes.
Patrick Swayze.
Was
You
that
ever seen the movie? Ghost?
a long time ago? Guys, I don't remember that.
Oh
That
my
was-
God. That's like engraved into my mind. That scene when she's on the table and the thing is spinning and she's like, ooh.
But it looks so sensual and so like
It is,
you have
it
to
is
be-
sensual.
So I don't know. It looks like something
You might want to take your man to that one.
And then he sits behind you and he puts his hand over your
No,
head.
I want to focus. Let me make my thing a little.
Oh goodness.
In the
No,
end,
I
she
just-
didn't make it right.
I just think that it would be something where you can like kind of because you have to focus on. It seems like something you have to focus on.
Yeah.
So I would want to see if I can just turn my brain off because I feel like I think too much and I overthink about things that are happening in my life and just give me like a few
For sure.
like an hour or so just to kind of like zone in on something. So I think I would love to try that. That's like kind of
So
like,
on our wellness trip, right? We've been trying to journaling, we've trying working out, all of this stuff. So between now and like the end of this series, we should definitely do like the food tour, a pottery class, maybe a crochet or Mod Podge class.
okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
And
to
I
a-
challenge you viewers to also get out there. You
And
know,
then tell us about it. Send photos.
Yeah, we love photos.
yeah, try something out there, put yourself out there in any type of like club or social event or whatever you want to do. Just do it. Do it for the
Right.
month of April. Be
Right.
well in your social circle.
And
Yes.
safe.
Yeah.
And until next time, we will see you in episode
I don't know.
I lost track.
We have no clue.
7.
We don't know yet.
Well, we'll
Just
see you for the next episode for April.
We'll see you for the next
Wellness.
episode.
coming every Wednesday. Just keep
Bye,
coming.
guys.